Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Well then, Mahrez has made something of that. It's Mahrez! 2-0 to Leicester City! Next to him, Anthony Kanaka finds Wood. Wood should score! Wood finds Kanaka! Yes! Here comes Leicester again with Heskey and Ibbett! Oh, this is incredible! Got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy!
Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube.
Good afternoon. No, not afternoon. We're a bit too late for that. Good evening and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses for yet another video, another live stream. And today, of course, it's Wednesday, so that means it's Fox's Den. Everybody who's watching, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, make sure to get involved in the live chat for this one because we're going to need your help with a few of these. So yeah, before we get into it all, Jack, final whistle, mate. What's going on with you? How's things with you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Busy one tomorrow, double header. So, yeah, Coventry match preview should be very tasty before the game.
Nice, mate. Nice. Yeah, hopefully it's a good game. Just quickly as well, just wanted to say a big shout out to Arthur from the Ukraine, member for 12 months. God, 12 months, mate. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember you, but you were the first person to become a member, weren't you, mate? So there you go. There's your 1 year. 1 year ago already. Steve, well, somebody put here the final whistle day game. What's going on with you, Steve, mate? How's things?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, yeah, double over tomorrow, but also the release of FC26. So it's going to be an even busier day for me. And I'm guessing you as well, Logs.
Well, talk to me, mate, because I remember last year it was the whole New Zealand trick where you get it a day early because you set your console to... Is that still a thing? Can you still do that?
You can, but if you pay, if you have EA Play, you can play it from 1 o'clock tomorrow. So I'm already an EA Play member, so I get early access.
How early did you get it if you're EA and New Zealand?
1 p.m.
At the same time.
Still one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. FC26 day. It still feels weird not calling it FIFA, doesn't it? It's a bit shitty in it, but yeah. Anyway. Hello to Daniel Dobson. Is this a hostile takeover from the final whistle? I hope it's not hostile. Well, we don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we have some disagreements. Yeah. Good evening to you, Shiro. Good evening to you, Azola, mate. Evening to Kunal as well. Yeah, hello again to Arthur. Okay, lads. So I wanted to get together this evening and talk about our season so far, and specifically the players, because I've done a lot of talking recently on the manager and what I've kind of made to his start. But I want to talk about some of these players in the squad. They're not all here because not all of them have either featured enough or played at all. Right? I haven't included the 3 new signings because we saw very little of them. A couple of the youngsters aren't here because we've not seen any of them. But the main ones who have played more than, let's say, an hour of football are here. So we're gonna go through each one and see what we all think. So I want to start with the first player here, which I believe is Ben Nelson. Now, again, he is one, Jack, that we haven't seen too much of. We've seen him, is it just the once, the Huddersfield game in the Cup?
Yeah.
What did you make to his start to the season, mate? Because it was pretty poor, wasn't it?
It was poor. He did do a few good things in the Huddersfield game, defensively.
It was the first half, wasn't it, where he was particularly bad?
Yeah, I think he picked up in the second half far more better, but first half he weren't really great. But then you expect that, don't you, when you're not really playing a lot of minutes and that, and it's not really a consistent run again for him. I'd like to see him more this season. I think he's got a lot to offer. He has got experience in the Championship, but if I had to stick him anywhere, I think I'd stick him in the Mayor part, bang in the middle.
Okay, I think that's generous, Steve. I don't know about you, mate. I was gonna stick him in the disappointing category, but I'll head to you now, mate. See what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Locks. To be honest, I'd put disappointing because he's not featured as much as you'd like him to. It's very difficult to put him in a tier list when you don't know, because he's not played any minutes. So if you base it on the League Cup, it wasn't great, and we lost the game. So he's not been crap because he's not been crap, but he's definitely not been there for me because he's not played enough football.
Yeah. Let's see what some people in the chat are saying here. So Boggy reckons disappointing. One game looked shaky, whatever shaky means. I've not heard that one before. Kunal from the shaky, maybe he means shaky. She means shaky. Kunal from the one game, he has to go in disappointing. Scarlett also said the lad will come good and will be a key player. Could possibly go back out on low. Yeah, I'm gonna go with me and you there, Steve. I'm gonna stick him in disappointing again. If he'd maybe played more minutes and was just as bad in those other games, I would put him down at the bottom. But I think he's played very little, as you said. The game he did play was pretty poor, so I'll stick him in disappointing. Now, an interesting one, Jack, I'm going to come to next, mate, and it's Bouba Soumare. I'm leaving Steve for last for this one because I know it's Steve's favourite player. I'm torn on this one, Jack. I want to say, and this might sound a little bit controversial, I want to say good. Although I understand the meh. But I want to say good because I think in a couple of the games, I think he had a really good game. And then the other games, it's kind of been hit and miss. Go on, Jack. You're shaking your head, mate. Tell me where you want to put him.
Do you know what, right? Bouba is a frustrating player for me. And I say that about some of the players. But didn't play well against Sheffield Wednesday. Played okay second half against Charlton, and his best game in a Leicester shirt was the Birmingham game. That's the only good game I think he's played. 1.5 games in a season in the first 5, of what he's played. So I would stick him in meh, to be fair. I'm not disappointed because I think he's a lot better than what he was bloody last season.
Is it possible to be disappointed with Bouba? Because I think our expectations are on the floor as it is, so I don't think he can really disappoint.
Yeah, but that's what you expect to be every season of Bouba, isn't it? Because no one rates him, so you expect disappointments, and you just want him to be crap, basically. So I think Mare would probably be the ideal situation for him. 1.5 games over 5 games. I think the middle one's probably the best part to put Bouba, to be fair, because I won't say he's been good.
Go on, Steve. Where are you leaning towards here, mate?
God, you're all fucking idiots. No, I'm not. No, I mean, what Jack says is correct. If you look at the games he's played, he's done okay in 1.5. My main issue, and it's the same when you come to Skipp, is that our midfield is bypassed so easily in every game that we've played so far this season, barring the Birmingham game, that you can't put him in good because he's just not been good. Even though we've picked up, 10 points in 5 games. I think meh is the right call for him, but if I had my choice, it'd be under crap. But
gotta be honest. He's going to the top.
I'll go with you two on meh. I was on a fine, I was right in the middle of good and meh, but I'll go with meh. I think he has been more of that than good, to be honest with you. But it's like the same old Bouba in it. Like he could turn up next game and be really good. He could turn out and just be absolute pile of crap. And it's more likely he turns out to be a big pile of crap in the next game. Yeah. So yeah. Right, let's move on to Mr. Abdul Fatawu. Jack, I mean, I think we all know where he's going, but I'll let you say a few words, mate. He's going in elite, isn't he?
Get that boy to the top. He's been the best player this season for me. He scored goals, got the assists as well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with Abdul. I'd very much put him to the top.
Steve, I'm guessing you're in agreement, mate. Unless you want to be edgy.
No, I'm in agreement. He's been our best player so far this season. He has been a bit hit and miss in games at times. Yeah. He does go, he gets a little bit frustrating and goes missing a little bit sometimes. But he's the one that scored a couple of goals to get us back into games and win games. So he's the best player. So he's got to be the only one in elite. I don't think you can put anyone else in the elite category. Interesting
you say that. Let's see if anybody else disagrees with that. But are we all in agreement? He has been the player of the season so far.
Yeah.
Yep. What is it? Is it 2 goals, 2 assists he's got in the 5 games? I think something like that. 2 goals, 1. Yeah, something like that. Either 2 goals, 1 assist, or 2 goals, 2 assists. There you go. Yeah, Daniel, 2 goals, 2 assists. Cheers for that, Daniel. Okay, up next is Caleb Okoli. I know where I'm going to put him, but I'll let you go first this time, Steve. Where are you wanting to put Caleb?
Disappointing for me. I feel like he does have potential to be a decent centre back, but as we said over the last couple of weeks, he's quite weak in defence as a defender. He's not very strong for a big guy, and his passing has been quite poor. But against Charlton, he was a brick wall. He got in the way of a lot of shots. He did the same against Birmingham. So I don't think you could say crap, but I think disappointing is where I put him.
Yeah, what about you, Jack? I would agree with Steve. And if there was another category, very disappointing, I'd probably put him there. I agree with Steve. I think he's in the middle of disappointing and crap, but maybe a little bit too harsh to put him in crap.
Yeah, it's disappointing from him. I expect better from Caleb. I think he can be a good defender, but he's not really great on the ball, and his passing's horrific. So the thing is with Caleb, like you say, he's disappointing in defensively sometimes in how he's gone about things this season. I mean, his pace is the best thing about him. He is good in positioning, but his passing and that's been very much woeful. So I would be disappointed in him, to be fair, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, let's see. So Kunal says Okoli would say meh. Off the ball, he was putting some good blocks, but on the ball, he is awful. Sean says meh, disappointed but not surprised. Shit on the ball, and his defense is taking a hit. Very disappointing, says Daniel. Boggy says disappointing, expected so much better from him. This is the thing, innit? He was kind of the defender that we looked at. Him and the two that are there, Nelson and Okoli, I think, at the end of last season and in the summer, you thought, right, that is the partnership we want to maybe see long term. Yeah. And both, haven't really impressed, and hence why we're seeing Vestergaard start every game. Do you know what I mean? Because these two haven't quite been good enough, but. Sean says best of a bad bunch. Daniel says expected so much more. Can't pass water, but talking and blocking is okay. Right, we're going to move on now to Hamza Choudhury. Here's one to talk about. Go on, Jack. I'll let you go first on this, mate, because I haven't decided yet where I want to put him.
Oh, do you know what? I've been impressed with Hamza's attitude. I think he's really stepped in this team this season when given the opportunity when Ricky P's not been fit. So I've been quite happy with Hamza. Apart from that decision of that penalty situation at Huddersfield Town, where I think he could do a lot better in that situation. Another one like Aaron Ramsey, where he don't need to make the foul, but he did anyway. So I've been quite impressed with Hamza. I think he's been good.
Steve, what are you thinking, mate? Has he quite done enough to go in good, or do you think he goes in meh? What are you thinking? I'm thinking in between the two. I don't know.
Yeah, I think between the two. I think you probably closer to good than meh. He has scored against Huddersfield. Jack's right about the penalty. To be honest, the goal against Huddersfield, I didn't even think it went in when it went, because it looked like he'd missed. So we were all a bit like, ugh. But he's been consistent over the last couple of games. And we've picked up 7 points in out of a possible of 9. So in a position where you wouldn't expect him to play regularly at right back, he's been fairly solid. But yeah, I think it's closer to good than meh, but somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll start us off in the good category with that. Some of the chat are agreeing. Richard says Hamza good. When he's good, he can be very good, but when he's not, he can have stinkers. Sean, met or good, lacks the quality, but he works. Zola, good for Choudhury, and Kunal says the same. Yeah, I think with Hamza, it's a similar situation like when we were talking about Okoli. Like, he's going to put his body on the line. His communication and his leadership, I suppose, he is one of the captains now. But on the ball, I think when the ball is played out to him, I'm just sat there like with my hand in front of my eyes, thinking, "Oh God, please do not give it away." But Daniel says Hamza has been good. He's played in different roles and took pressure of us to rush Ricky back. Yeah. And you saw it on the weekend, right? When we were down to 10 men, Marty had to do a bit of shuffling about, and he played him more in midfield, which helped us out as well. What have you made to his leadership and his as one of the captains now, Jack? Because it's not a surprise, I don't think, that he has been selected as one of them. He's vocal and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Abdul or maybe somebody else, but there was a mistake in one of the games and he went over and put his arm around his shoulder and had a word with him, and I think he is probably a good option as one of the captains, Jack.
Yeah, he's one of our experienced players. He's got that good leadership qualities about him, Hamza. He's vocal and he loves to put up a fight in the team, and that's what you can ask for. You want a leader on the pitch who gives that talk and can battle hard at the same time. That's Hamza. You're not always going to get your 10 out of 10 performances by him, but his positioning's good this season. I think he's really helped the team. Against Oxford, when we did go down to 10 men, we were like having 2 players on the pitch in it to fill that role. So that's someone you can rely on. And I think Championship is his sort of best division, to be fair, to where he plays best.
Yeah, perfect timing. We've got our 4th guest here, so let's get him in, all the way from South Africa. Ethan, mate, what's going on?
Oh, it's George. Good and you?
Oh my dear. 2 seconds. It lasted 2 seconds.
Ethan, we were just talking. You've missed a few, but we were just talking about Hamza Choudhury, mate. We've. I'll tell you what. Actually, you can take a look at the tier list. What have you made to what we've done so far, mate? Kind of ranking these players from their start of the season. What do you think? Any ones that you disagree with?
Not that I disagree with, but I think my player of the season nominee, Ben Nelson, being disappointing is a bit telling. But yeah, no, I think I sort of agree. I think Hamza's been good. He's been solid when called upon, but I don't think he's been outstanding. Obviously scored the goal in the Carabao Cup, but I think he's been solid. You don't say he's a 8 out of 10 or outstanding player, but he does a job.
Yeah. Well, let's see who's next. Here we go. Right, I'm going to come to you, Steve. Harry Winks. I can't stop talking about Harry Winks just because it's one that I think has a lot of people split. I know where my head is on him in terms of what his future is at Leicester City, but talking about his start to the season, and I suppose I should probably caveat this and say let's focus on what they've done on the pitch, because it's another matter what's been going on behind the scenes and how he's conducted himself off the pitch. But on the pitch, Steve, what are you thinking, mate? Because I think I would stick him in good, because I think every time he's come on, he has improved us.
Yeah, I would agree. I think good is the place for him because, as you say, he has improved us. You saw against Oxford that, he was dictating the play and filling that position that we desperately need in that midfield. He did the same against Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was, when he came on. Look, as if you look at it as just his football, I think he's been one of the better players out of the squad so far. So I would put him in good.
Jack, Harry Winks, mate, what are you leaning towards for this one?
It's been 100% consistency. He's done everything which is asked of him on the football pitch. Maybe the mentality's been a problem, but when he has been called upon, he's gave it his all. Oxford changed the game massively. Sheffield Wednesday at home, he dictated it and became that real pivotal role. And that's something that Leicester's potentially been missing. So if we can get him right, then I think he plays a pivotal role for us this season under Marty if he uses him effectively. So I'm going to say he's been good for us. Very good.
Just before I come to you, Ethan, let me just bring up some of the comments. So Sean says good, only because he's literally the best midfielder we have at the moment. Boggy says the whole situation with Winks is disappointing. Yeah, of course, the situation and what's been going on is disappointing. Kunal, on the pitch, Winks has been good when he comes off the bench. Mayor for Zola there for Winks. Richard says Winks has been good when he comes on, but he needs to remember who pays his very good wages. Isaac says deserves to be on the bench till he gives a bit back to the fans, which I think he started to do on the weekend. against Oxford. And Isaac says again here, heard Lox's "I love you" message to Jordan James has been passed on to his lawyers for harassment. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if I do get some kind of restraining order or something in the future. Go on then, Ethan. Do you disagree with what we've said here, or are you in agreement, mate, that Harry Winks, from what he's done on the pitch, does deserve to be in the good category here?
I mean, yeah, no, he's been one of the better midfielders, right? Whenever he's come on, he's made a difference, right? I think we all see that when he's on the pitch, we actually play a bit more of what Marty wants to play. It's a bit of a shame, the off the field and that sort of drama, because I think if he played the 90 minutes game in, game out, we'd have him in the elite column. But it's unfortunate, but I think he's working his way back into the team. And if we do this tier list, say in January, we could expect him to be an elite.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There is definitely potential there if he's still here in January. Okay, Jack, let me come to you first, mate. Jakub Stolarczyk, what have you made to his start to the season so far? I think this is a bit of a tough one. I think it's between two, but go on, mate. What do you think?
Jesus Christ. Can I pass it to Steve first?
Look at that. If he wants it, if Steve wants to take it.
I'm going to pass it to Steve, actually.
Okay, I'll take it. I would say disappointing. He's had 2 mistakes in 5 games already that led to goals. His performance has been okay, but his goalkeeping, his distribution, as Isaac just said, has been woeful. You know, there have been times in the game where you need a goalkeeper to be composed and, you know, not just launch the ball out of play and give it straight back to the opposition for them to get us under pressure. So
yeah,
I think if he hadn't given away the goal at Oxford, I'd put him in the meh category. But look, you know, he has been disappointing for me.
Ethan, there's a comment here which says, hot take, crap. Cost us in 2 games already this season. Really want it to work, but it's been a crap start. And on the complete other side here, Azola says good. So what do you think? What do you think, Ethan? Because I think maybe crap is a little bit harsh. I was gonna say disappointing or meh, but I couldn't decide between. So what are you thinking?
Look, I mean, he doesn't get helped so much by the defense, right? I think when you have someone like Vestergaard, Thomas, who are getting exploited, this is especially for the pressing game where I will admit he was a bit crap. I think it's important that we just realize this is his first full season as a Leicester number 1, and you know it's a big step up for him. But I think he's been meh. I don't think he's been good. He's kept 2 clean sheets, but I think those were team performances. But otherwise, I think he's been meh.
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you on that one, to be honest with you. I think it's more... And I was quite harsh on him on the weekend. But go on, Jack. Are you going with meh like me and Ethan, or are you going for disappointing like Steve? What are you saying?
With the mistakes that he's made and he's kicking, I'm going to go for disappointing. I expected a lot more better from him this season. I know he's going to say, people are going to say, yeah, it's his first full season in a Leicester City shirt. It's number 1, but you've got to sort of overlook that, innit? You know, you're the number 1 keeper. You've got to make a statement and say, well, I want to be number 1 for a few years or so. I think he sort of struggled. The Preston one, the goal's his fault. He comes out too far. They score. The Oxford goal at the weekend again. Got to do better. His kicking's absolutely honking, by the way, and that's not just him. That's recent keepers in the past as well. So his best save that he has made and the best game that he has played is Charlton. So I'd be very much in the disappointed. I expect a lot more better from him, and like I say, it's not the finished article.
Well, it's 2-2 because me and Ethan have gone meh, and Steve and Jack have gone disappointing. There is a poll in the live chat on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, just go to the right and there is a poll there. You can pick between meh and disappointing. I'll give it 30 seconds or so to get your votes in on that. It's just in the live chat. If you go to the live chat, you'll see it. So make sure you help us out with that vote. Boggy says, I'd say even in them games, kicking bad, and also in the Brum game, he didn't need to do much, and kicking was bad. Sean says, nothing about Jakob's weaknesses are news, really. Who was the last keeper we had that was good at distribution?
Exactly.
I can't say he's disappointing. Probably Mayer because he's a keeper. The beautiful frame. Big shout out to these guys. Hello to you. I like Stolarczyk personally. Great shot stopper, but distribution reminds me of Schmeichel. There was another comment I wanted to bring up here as well, which said Preston game and Oxford, I think both goals are at fault. Yep. And Frankie having a little dig at Ethan there, George Hurst elite. Right, let's see what the poll is. The poll has gone in favour of Meh, so we're going to stick Jakob in there. There we go. So anything we're tied on, we will go to the live chat to help us out. So the next one, lads, I'll come to you first this time, Steve. Yannick Vestergaard. Now, straight off the bat, the regular viewers of the channel know I like Yannick in this division. I do think he's been the best centre-back this season, and I'm going to stick him in good. But what are your thoughts?
Again, Locks, we seem to agree. I actually, as much as Yannick has been a bit of a prick in his time at Leicester, I think in this division, he's probably one of the best centre-backs going. He's good with the ball at his feet. We saw at the weekend, at one point, he did it almost like a Cruyff turn to get away from an attacker, which was... might have been the slowest cross term I've ever seen, but it was still pretty good.
Okay.
Defensively, there have been times where he switched off the Oxford goal, first one. I would say he switched off for that one, but overall, I think he's in the good category.
Does Jack or Ethan, do either of you want to make the case for elite, as Kunal has here? Yannick is elite this season so far. Do either of you think that, or are you going with good or meh? What are you going with? I'll come to you, Jack.
That's making him look like the bloody Danish Maldini if you're putting him in elite. No, Vestergaard's been good. His championship is his level. He's not blessed with pace, is he? Some people say like he turns like a double-decker bus, but when he is on the ball, he's good. He can handle the pressure well. He can pick out them good passes, which he's good in starting the play-up. And I think he's a talker as well. He likes to talk a lot about when people do make mistakes now in midfield. He's had a few words with Soumare and Skipp about certain ones in the Birmingham game where they gave the ball away sloppily. But I don't know. I think Yannick's good in this division. So, I can't be downbeat about him. So I'm going to be very much in the good division with him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Ethan, over to you, mate. I mean, we've all gone good. Do you agree with that? I mean, there's just a couple of comments here. Yannick's good at this level, but that high line scares me to death when he's playing. Just needs to move the ball quicker still. What are you thinking about Yannick's start to the season?
Yeah, he's been good. I put him basically in the same category as Hamza, right? Everything that he's been instructed to do, he's done quite well. There's no case for him to be elite, unfortunately. I think he's got a mistake too much in him. I think sometimes the decision making isn't quite there. And obviously he's got glaring weaknesses. So he's not elite, but I think he's had a good start to the season. He's probably gonna keep his place for the rest of the season. And it's a bit disappointing to say that he's been our best centre back, considering that Okoli and Nelson, I think, they have high ceilings, but. Yeah, no, he's been good. He's been solid. Attitude's been right, and he's been working hard, and that's why Marty's been starting him.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, we I suppose it's easy to fall into the trap, isn't it? We're in the championship, but we're seeing good performances from him at a level that we know he's capable at. Similar to another defender we're going to get to, but you look at Okoli. Like Okoli's also dropped down. And I know maybe you could argue it's Okoli's first year in the playing championship football, so maybe it's going to take a little bit longer for him to adapt to that. But Vestergaard, would you agree with my statement that Vestergaard has been our best defender this season, or best centre back?
Yeah, I would personally, because look, we have had a couple of clean sheets in that time. We've picked up 10 points from a possible 15. It's a decent start, which we all expected to start slowly, to be honest, and because the manager's not had the preseason, and Yannick's been at the heart of that. we were caught out against Sheffield Wednesday. I think they sort of surprised us by how quick they came out the blocks. Disappointed at Preston, but look, you can't. I don't really think you can blame him for the second goal at Preston, because Wout Faes was halfway up the pitch and he was left on his own against a quick forward. So I wouldn't blame Yannick for that. He tries. But overall, I think he is our best centre-back, because realistically, out of the three that we've picked so far this season, we've not seen a lot of Wout Faes. Okoli has been disappointing, so he must be our best centre-back.
Yeah. Sure. No one's disagreeing with you, mate. No one's disagreeing with you. We're just talking about kind of performances so far this season. I think he probably does just deserve to be in that good category. The next player, lads, is Jeremy Munga. Now, this is an interesting one. This is where hypocrisy comes into this a little bit, because I wouldn't put Harry Winks in elite, like we haven't, because he hasn't played enough. But I think when Jeremy Munga's been on the pitch, Jack, I think he has been elite. I think he's been incredible when he's been on the pitch. He obviously just hasn't played as many minutes as an Abdul, for example. But I think, talk to me, Jack. What are you thinking? Is it maybe a bit too rash to put him in elite just because he's not played too many? Mate, Liam, what the hell is this comment? Steve Cooper would be an elite level as manager. He's managing in fucking Denmark. Yeah. No, Jack, Jeremy Munga. Where would you like to put him on this list?
Jesus. I'll tell you what, every time he's been on the pitch, he's been fantastic. The way he takes on his man, he's got some goals, he's got assists. I wasn't really impressed with Mitch Charlton in the level of performance. I think he could have done a little bit better, which you can't really be 10 out of 10 every game, can you? Sometimes you drop a little bit of standard, but it's how you pick yourself up the game after. So I think, to be fair, because he hasn't played enough, I'm going to go with good for now. Maybe at the end of the season, I will stick him in elite. But yeah, if you're looking at Abdul, he's played every game, hasn't he? You know what you're expecting from him. But with Jeremy, he's done what he's done off the bench, and I think he's done incredibly well for, especially being 16. I just love watching him play in that, and he excites the team as well, isn't it? And he scores, he assists, and does everything right for. He's going to learn that experience. So I'm going to say good so far.
Frankie, we're not gonna. Jordan James won't be here. We're not talking about the new signings just because they haven't played enough. But come the end of the season, I will make sure I include a cream your pants rank as well. That's for sure. Steve, Jeremy Munga. Just before you give your answer, a few comments of people saying good but can't be elite because he's not played enough. Zola does think elite. Tony says good, not elite yet. Kunal thinks he should join. Abdul with elite. Munga would be on the edge of good and elite. Munga has done good. Sean says not all of his performances have been great, though. What are you thinking, Steve?
I don't think you could put him in elite. I think if there was that between meh and good, probably closer to good than meh, because he has scored and assisted so far.
Meh? What?
No. As in, he's closer to good, but I don't think he's been exceptional. Look, he has scored and assisted, which is good. He's still only young, but realistically, to put him in elite, you need to play more football. So, and we all know what he can achieve as a professional footballer so far. I would say he's better than Mavididi at the moment, but that's another conversation. So I would put him in good personally, but closer to good than there, but around there.
Ethan, where are you thinking, mate? Because I think me personally, if I'm being completely honest, I would probably put him at the top of good, just for when he has been on the pitch. But what are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, no, it's difficult because my bias is telling me, he's elite. When you have that much of an impact at 16, right, a goal and an assist already. And you probably should have a couple more. You think of the times where Ayew's been a bit greedy and not passed him or not cut it back or not played him through. So it's very difficult because I think if those little moments go his way, we'd be thinking, elite and maybe even above Abdul. But I think for now he's good. He just needs to play a bit more football. Needs to grow into himself a bit more and grow into the team a bit more. I think defensively he could do a bit more, track back and put in a bit more effort running back. But I think going forward he is elite, but there's still more to his game.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there for him to go in the good category. 1 goal and 1 assist in. Has he not got 2 assists? No, is it just the one?
Just the one, I think.
Just the one. 1 goal, 1 assist. 1 goal, 1 assist. With 1 start, right? He only started the 1 game, and that 1 game he started, it was his worst game, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. Over Abdul is a hot. I think Ethan's saying in the future, right? He could be in the future ahead of Abdul, which I would agree with. But we'll wait and see. Abdul, I think, is still our best player. Right, Jack, I'm coming to you on this one, mate. Uncle Ayew, if you couldn't see that bald head on the bottom left of your screen, where are you putting Uncle Ayew, mate? Because he's just come off the back of a very successful international break, and then he's come back and scored his first goal of the season as well.
Do you know what? Uncle Ayew is in the good area for me. I think he's done a lot of what his work rate's been fantastic this season. His hold-up play has been good. He gets around the pitch. He works hard for the team. People criticise his goals, but we all know he's not a number 9 goal scorer. We all know that. But he did score against Oxford, which hopefully gives him some confidence to score against them like the weekend. So I think Uncle Ayew's done a good job for me this season so far. So I'm going to go with good.
Ethan, I think it's a credit to, to be fair, Ayew comes across as a kind of guy that doesn't really give a fuck about what's going on in the world and on the pitch and whatever. But I think that shows because he's the number 9, the first, after Jamie Vardy. That is one of the biggest, the most precious situations that you'll ever get at Leicester City. Jamie Vardy not retiring, but leaving the club, and Ayew coming in for him as not only the number 9, but the starting striker. So I think he's done very well for that situation, Ethan, and I think he deserves to be in good. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's the same thing that I say with Munga, right? If things just went his way, if the decision making was a bit better, 2 or 3 of his shots going as goals, we'll be talking about him having an elite start to the season. But yeah, no, he's been good. He's done his job that he's needed to do. I think, like Munga, there's just a bit more that he can do. There's a bit more sort of contribution that he can give off. But I think he started the season really good. Yeah.
Steve, are you in agreement with us, mate, or are you gonna go somewhere else?
No, I am actually in agreement with you all. I think he started the season pretty well. If he just had a slightly, if he was just a little bit quicker and a bit more direct, he'd be world class in this league. It just, he's just slow. He's just really slow. It's really frustrating. His step overs are the slowest I've ever seen a footballer make.
Yeah. Ragsy here, he is the biggest Ayew hater of them all. Ayew could score a hat trick, and Ragsy will be like, "Why didn't he get 4? Why didn't he get 4?" So, how Graham Souness used to be about Pogba. Do you remember? Right? If Soumare's own goal on the weekend, it wouldn't surprise me if Ragsy was like, "Where was Ayew? Why didn't Ayew header it away?" So, no, I'm joking, Ragsy, but I get the things about him being slow and keeps decision making as well. I think Mary's harsh for him. I'm just thinking, let's try and clean this up a little bit. So we've got Abdul. Who are we putting after? If we try and put this in order before we go into the others, who are we thinking? What should the order be on this one on the good category?
Yannick first for me, and then Hamza.
Hamza, maybe Winks Munga, Ayew like that.
I think Ayew above Winks, and then Winks above Munga.
Okay. Anyone disagree with that, or do you think that's there or thereabouts?
I put Munga above Winks.
Yeah, let's do that.
You can argue either way, to be fair.
But then you swap Jakob and Soumare for sure.
So you have Jakob higher than Soumare, and probably Okoli ahead of Nelson as well.
Yeah,
you would. Yeah. Okay, let's try and stick to the order from this point on. The GOAT, says Clemo. Clemo did send the super chat on the weekend saying Ayew time, and he did go and score. So yeah, good shout. Who would bet on a race between Vestergaard and Ayew? Ayew would win that, I think. Ayew would win a race between him and Vestergaard. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Scarlett says absolute travesty that Uncle Ayew isn't elite. Yeah, right. Up next, we have got Lewis Page. Lewis Page, people. What are we saying? He start 2 games, I want to say. I'll start us off here. I want to put him in Mare. I think if you take into account his age and like being so young and he's kind of maybe surprised on occasion, I think maybe you could put him in good. But I just think if you look at the whole situation, I don't think he's been quite good enough to get into the good category. Obviously, he got an assist, but it was a bit of a mistake from Birmingham how he got on the end of it anyway. Let me come to you first, Ethan. Am I harsh putting him in Mare, or would you do the same? And where would you put him in the list?
I just don't think he's had the impact yet, right? I think obviously he's gotten an assist, but I think there's still more that he can do. There's still more influence on the game that he can impose. There's times where he's had a bit of a loose touch, and it's normal, right? He's just a kid. He's nervous. But I think, it's fair to put him in Mare. I don't think he's been disappointing. I think he's been one of the more exciting players to watch, the more direct and interesting players to watch. But he hasn't necessarily been good, right? I think he still had bad moments here and there. Obviously good ones as well. But yeah, the best is still yet to come. So I'd put him in Mare.
Jack, what are you saying, mate? Lewis Page?
I'm going to agree with Kuno. It wasn't the best against which was his first league start, wasn't it? He was steady. I think he's still trying to get the hang of things under playing this system under Marty. There is potential there. I think he will develop quite well as a midfielder. Did well against Birmingham. I think that was his better game than him supporting with the whole Charlton thing. If you sort of split both games, so I would go Mare.
Steve, would you do the same? And if so, where would you put him in that list? Would you put him at the top or second? What are you thinking?
No, I'd keep him in Mare at the end there. Even his assist against Birmingham was overplayed. I think he got quite lucky with the fact that Abdul controlled it pretty well. He wasn't great against Charlton. There's promise there, but I think Mare. I don't think he's been as bad as Nelson and Okoli has.
Right, start us off with the next one, Steve. This is where it could get interesting. Luke Thomas. Where are you wanting to put him, mate? I think this is one of the toughest ones. I think this is tough.
I think he's in that disappointing to meh category in between, really. I think he's better than Soumare and probably better than Page, actually. But he's not been great. The reason being is that as a defender, he's average. He's okay. He's not great, but he does a job. He gets back and he gets in the way. As an attacking fullback, he's probably the worst fullback I've ever seen play for Leicester. He divers on the ball. There was an opportunity on Saturday where he could have played Skipp down the wing and he held onto it and passed it back. And we were all screaming at him. And then there was a bit where he got smashed in the face with the ball. It took him 5 seconds to fall on the floor and then he got back up again. Which I don't understand. And then I'm taking it back. He's been disappointing and he's right at the end because that free kick and that long throw in on Saturday were the worst I've ever seen.
I don't know. Like Ethan, maybe it's because I've worded it. Like maybe I shouldn't have worded it disappointing. Again, similar with what I said about Soumare. Like I don't think Luke Thomas can disappoint me because my expectations are on the floor as it is.
You should just have a separate Luke Thomas area for it.
I just think it should be meh or crap, to be honest. But Ethan, what are you leaning towards with this one?
You kind of know what you're getting with Luke Thomas, right? You're getting someone that's does the very, very basics of football, right? If he's told to keep the ball, he will not try to do anything risky with it. I think when Luke Thomas is good, right, I think he's one of the better defenders in the team, right? I think the Birmingham game, He showed that, he can handle himself. He can handle an attacker. But his overall play and him as a player is just so frustrating to watch. You'd probably put him in disappointing because you'd want a more attacking-minded fullback, someone that's got a bit more about them, right? I think there's a reason every week we're saying, why isn't Aluko starting over him? But I don't think he's been crap. I think, he started the season decently, been part of two backlines that have kept clean sheets, right? So, there is something about him, but you can't put him above disappointing.
Jack, I think maybe this where we've got him here is the perfect place for him. Maybe just at the bottom of disappointing. What do you think? Or would you put him in crap?
He ain't been good enough this season, has he? The guy loses his man more times than he bloody wins a ball. He's always out of position. He can't defend. What can he do? It's that type of position. We'd be talking about Christensen from last season, the same situation. Gets beaten to he's got pace. Every fullback should have pace to get forward. But I don't know. We could probably say he tries, the effort's there, but then it's not about the effort. It's about playing well and doing well for the team. I just don't think he offers. So the thing is with Luke Thomas, I just can't really keep saying I'm disappointed by him, but I just don't think he offers anything. So I'd say disappointed.
Yeah, let's leave him there. Are we all in agreement? If he is in the disappointing category, he does go at the end of that, the bottom of that. Like he's closer to crap. Are we all?
I feel like you should put him ahead of Ben Nelson because
I would. In the middle.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. I'll go with that.
I'd rather what's his name, Aluko, to be fair.
Steve, Oliver Skipp, who's gained you quite a few impressions this week on X, mate. Happy 25th birthday to him yesterday. Where do you want to put him, Steve? Because I almost feel like you have to put him in the same category as Booba.
Yeah,
but below. I think you would put him. I would put him below Booba, but you've got to maybe put him in the same category as Booba.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's ahead of Luke Thomas, but below Soumare for sure. He's been better, but if you're underneath the barrel because there's no bottom of the barrel anymore, anything is better than that. So, a 4 out of 10 is better than what we served up last year and the start of the season. So, yeah, I think below Soumare, but above Luke Thomas, but only just above Luke Thomas.
Ethan?
I'd put him down to disappointing. I think Okoli, he's had his honkers, right? This guy has had his honkers as well, right? I think there was, I forgot which game. There was a game where he made 8 passes, right? The whole game. As a midfielder, as a central midfielder, that is absolutely criminal. And I will always come back to the price tag, right? This guy is 25 million apparently. And it's just not good enough, right? It's disappointing. We all thought, he's a championship signing. When he comes into the championship, he's going to boss the midfield. Has he bossed the midfield? No. So for me, disappointing.
Yeah. Jack, Sean says, disappointing, only had 1 good game in 2 seasons. Absolute passenger in most games. Tony says struggles to pass the time. Should have had a never should have signed him category. The more I think about it, Jack, I'm kind of more tempted to put him at the top of disappointing, but because
I got confused with Okoli and Soumare in that list. So yeah, he's in disappointing, but above Okoli.
Yeah, the reason why I think Jack, I think with Skipp, you kind of had the hope that dropping down a division, maybe he could show something a bit more, but he's been slightly better than he was last season, but he's not been good at all, has he?
No, the guy looked 52 and not 25. It's just the thing is with Skipp, his best game in the Leicester shirt were against Birmingham City. Against Oxford, we never really seen that. We just seen him running around, and that's all I've seen. He kept getting the ball away, and that typical Skipp fashion. I'd expect him to be better in the Championship. especially with Ethan says the price that you paid for him, you'd expect him at least to do well in the Championship. But there's just nothing about him really, are they, to be fair? Him and Booba, they've had one good game this season and against Birmingham. Apart from that, it's below average, isn't it? Again, I would say disappointing.
Yeah. Sean says he's so weak in the tackle, he can't pass.
Yeah.
His decision-making is terrible. He runs forward off the ball. Can't tackle, can't pass, can't shoot. His positioning is terrible. He's always in the wrong place. Moving on, lads. I think we've got our one and only, maybe two, but first, crap category entry of the video.
I know who's coming.
Ethan, Patson Daka, is he going in crap?
Yeah. I don't have anything to say about him, right? He ticks all the criteria for that tier, right? Hasn't played any minutes. When he's come on, he's looked absolutely useless. For Zambia, you couldn't even scam a goal or assist or get some good form. So it just shows you that any value of a player that he used to have, it's gone. It's gone. I feel like, he deserves to go for free, right? There's a valuation tied to him, but you can let him go for free. I don't think he has. Yeah, he doesn't have any value to the team, right? When you try play long, right, against Oxford, who's scoring the equalizer? Uncle Ayew. When we put him on to press, who's pressing more? Uncle Ayew. So what use is there for him? He's been crap, and I don't see a part or a future for him in this team.
Steve, but he scored 4 goals against Moscow, mate. Does that mean we should put him somewhere else, or would you put him in crap as well?
I think we can all just agree with crap, shake hands, and move on to the next one, right? He's probably, I wouldn't say he's the worst signing we've ever made, but he's not far off. No, he's not. I think he's the worst. I still think Dennis Wise is the worst signing we've ever made as a football club.
Striking option, it's got to be up there, Steve.
Oh, I don't know. You saw Musa, right?
You look a £50 million player.
I think Daka is the worst signing ever for the
23 goals and 120 odd appearances. That's crazy. That's criminal.
Was he 20 million quid? 20 million was he?
3 bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I had expectations for him, but I don't think I have now.
Hello to you, Fossa. Right, let's move on. We know Daka's going in crap. The next one on the list, Ricky P. What are we saying for Ricky P? I'll come to you first, Jack.
Oh, I love him to bits. He's my favourite player. Love him. He's been great since he's come in the team. Stood up as a captain. Really helps the team. And yeah, if we keep him fit, he's sensational. He makes a real difference. Scored goals as well, some pivotal goals, one against Birmingham and the one against Oxford. And yeah, it's love Ricky P to bits. Just put him an elite or even above for me. God tier.
What are you saying, Steve? I think maybe there's a lot of people in the chat saying elite, but again, we're basing this off the start to the season. I think maybe he goes in good because of that, because he's just not played a lot.
I will put him in good. Yes, he scored a couple of goals, but we have to remember that he was very lucky not to get sent off against Birmingham for that 2-footed tackle that was over the ball. I know you hindsight is wonderful, but he was very lucky to not be missing 3 games.
Yeah.
But look, keep up this trajectory and he will be an elite. But I think good is, if you look at the list, I would say he's probably between Choudhury and Ayew for me, because he's scored a couple of goals. So he's our top goal scorer with Abdul.
I was going to put him in between Hamza and Yannick. I think he's... but again, you take into account minutes played, maybe you put Hamza ahead. What are you saying, Ethan? Where do you think he should go?
I think, for me, I was leaning more to elite. I think, taking into consideration minutes, but then put him to the top of good, right? You would say that when he's been on the pitch, right, Ricardo has been one of the best players on the pitch, full stop. So I think, unfortunate to miss the first couple games of the season through injury. When he's come back, he's looked phenomenal. He's scored 2 goals already, put in 2 good performances. Okay, yes, he almost got sent off, but I think, it's one of those where you look at it, it looks bad, but he did win the ball. So I think with VAR, with VAR, you know, it's a yellow card. But I'd put him at the top of good, right? I think at this sort of, like Steve said, this sort of trajectory, he's going to be an elite. But I think at the top of good is where he deserves to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment here that says he'll be lifting the championship trophy come May. Daniel says elite, which goes against others with limited time. I'm gonna put him in good. I will put him in between. I'll put him here. Not quite there. I'll put him there in between Hamza and Yannick. I don't think it's quite fair to put. I get what people are saying. I don't think it's quite fair to put him at the very top of good. But I literally think within 2 games time, like, we could be saying, yeah, he's in elite. Like, it could be that soon if he continues as he has done so far. Right, we've got 2 players left, lads. Let's come to Steve on Wout Faes.
Yeah, I would.
Well, I mean, he rescued. He's the goal scored against Sheffield Wednesday, rescued 3 points, which was good. But I would say that he was most likely at fault for the second goal at Preston for being so high up the pitch when we were pressing. And then you could see the disdain after that when he was sort of putting his arms up in the air. The hands to the fans, I don't agree with, but whatever, I would put him in. I would say he's probably meh, but below Louis Page for me. He's not featured a lot either, to be fair.
That's true. Yeah, Ryan, I think crap is harsh, very harsh, because I think when he's come on, I said earlier that Vestergaard's been our best defender, but I think when Faes has actually come onto the pitch, he has been our best defender, which is crazy. He also scored a goal as well, of course. I know Yannick did as well, but he scored a goal in the first game of the season. Jack, where would you put Wout Faes? Because I'm leaning toward, and I hate the man, I hate him, but I would put him at the bottom, the very bottom of good, or the top of meh. But where would you put him, Jack?
I think some people are judging him by the amount of times he lifts his arms in the air with Faes. No, he did get the winner against Sheffield Wednesday. The thing is, has he really put a foot wrong in some of the performances that he's put in this season? I'd say no, even though he has wanted to leave the football club. So, yeah, I'd agree with. I'd say in between. To be fair, I'd say meh.
At the top of meh, maybe. What about you, Ethan? Just quickly, Ryan. No one's disagreeing. I think none of us like him. Ryan.
Base him on performance.
Yeah, we're just basing this off of what we've seen of him so far this season when he's been on the pitch. But go on, Ethan. Where would you stick Wout Faes here, mate?
My heart is telling me meh. I think you know what you get with Wout Faes. Someone who's a bit too cocky, but too arrogant, too overconfident. Someone with a crybaby attitude. But when he's good, he's good. I think top of meh or even below Jakob is quite fair. 1 goal, 1 assist, right? I think it's going to be crazy in 10 years' time when people are saying, "Oh, who assisted Jerry Mamong's first goal?" and the answer is Wout Faes. But I think he's been meh. I think you know what you get from Wout Faes. Hasn't been exceeding expectations. Hasn't been below those expectations. You know what you're going to get for him, and for that he's been meh.
Steve, where would you put him in the meh category? Because we will go with that. Would you put him ahead of Jakob, or would you maybe put him behind and in between him and Soumare? Where are you thinking?
I would put him between Jakob and Soumare. I agree with what everyone else has said. I just wish that he would put his head down now and crack on, because I still think he's our best centre back at the club. So I would want to play the best team possible. So. Yeah, I think between Jakob and Soumare makes sense.
Yeah, let's do that. Finally, Steffi Mavididi. Ethan, let me come to you first, mate. Do I go harsh on this guy, man? I was gonna say crap. I want to say disappointing. I want to say at the bottom of disappointing. Ethan, what are you saying?
he realistically, our expectations for him, right? And that's what I'm kind of basing this on. He should be up there elite with Abdul, but he's been more than disappointing. He's been crap. He's been crap, guys. It's a bit crazy to say that Munga has overtaken Mavididi, but I think that's the general consensus, right? And if you're the guy that's supposed to be in your best years getting overtaken by a 16-year-old, then you have been crap. You have been underperforming drastically. I think there must be something off the pitch, or maybe he's just a bit nervous. Can he do it again for another season? But yeah, I haven't been impressed with him. Like, far from it. I put him at the top of crap though.
Ragsy, are you smoking? What are you smoking, Ragsy? In what world do you think Mavididi has been better than Ayew this season? You are smoking something crazy. Steve, man, I mean, put this to bed, Ragsy's comment, which is just delusional in my eyes. But where would you put? I saw you do that, Steve. Point down. Would you put him as low as crap, or would you stick him in disappointing? Because I think Mavididi, for me, is the epitome of disappointing. Like, after how good he was 2 years ago, he's coming now to the team, and I think he's been poor. So where would you stick him?
Yeah, I think it's right at the end of disappointing, sort of dipping. I think his legs are dipping into crap, to be honest. He's been woeful. You saw him at the weekend, fantastic run with the ball. And if he had a left foot, we'd have been 2-1 up. But instead, he cuts it inside, loses all momentum, and just managed to get the shot away. He's slow on the ball. He takes too many step overs. He holds on to it too much, and then he just doesn't deliver. So, and I agree. Like, if a 16-year-old Jeremy Munga is coming on and doing better than you, then mate, have a look at yourself, because you're meant to be a professional footballer that was at Arsenal and Juventus, and now you're playing in the Championship and you're being overtaken by a 16-year-old. It's disappointing, but very close to crap.
Jack, what are your thoughts on this one, mate?
He's not been good enough this season, in my opinion. Sorry, Ragsy. I don't want to criticise him and look like I'm criticising one player here, but he just hasn't, has he? He just hasn't done what we expect from him. We expect a lot better from Steffi, to be fair. Last time in the Championship, he was tearing it up. He looks the complete opposite this time round. I don't know whether that's a mentality thing or he just hasn't impressed me at all. Against Oxford, he frustrates me. He'll get the ball a lot. He runs down the wing, step over and backwards, and he just frustrates the hell out of me, man. I expect a lot from Steffi. I like him, I do, but he just hasn't cut it for me this season. Very disappointing from me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. Sean says he doesn't stand out, but he's not as bad as some others. Right, well, let's go through the list, the final list. So we have in order, so the only one in elite, Abdul Fatawu. And then we've got Yannick Vestergaard, Ricardo Pereira, Hamza Choudhury, Bouba Soumare, Jeremy Munga, and Harry Winks in the good category. In the meh category, we've got Jakub Stolarczyk, Wout Faes, Bouba Soumare, and Lewis Page. In disappointing, we have Oliver Skipp, Caleb Okoli, Luke Thomas, Ben Nelson, and Steffi Mavididi. And then all the way down there on his own in the crap category is Patson Daka. Before we end, let me just go around to everybody. Steve, I'll start with you. I think we've absolutely smashed this list, man. I think this is, obviously we're going to say this because we've done it, but I think this is bang on pretty much.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think you could really argue many on there at all. I think it's bob on, honestly. Yeah,
Jack, anything to add to that, mate? You think we've done a good job?
I feel sorry for Patson.
Nah, don't feel sorry. He's a millionaire.
No, honestly, I think we've smashed it. The thing is, we've looked at it with our own eyes this season of how things have gone. And yeah, I think we're bang on with the money with this.
Ragsy, there's only one person with an agenda, and it's you against Ayew, man. We've not dropped no bar for Ayew. We're just saying as it is. Like, Ayew has been pretty good this season, and Mavididi has been very disappointing. That's all it is, mate. Ethan, final words, mate. What do you think to the tier list? We done a good job?
Yeah, no, I obviously wasn't here for the first couple ones, but from what I can see, I'd agree with everything. we'd be hoping for a bit more in elite, but let's trust Marty. Let's see what he can cook up. And yeah, no, I think this is spot on.
Well, what I'll do is I've saved an image of this. Us four, the same four, will come back maybe at Christmas time, and let's look back at the list and see what changes we would make to that. Big shout out to everybody who's joined us in the live chat. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Jack and Steve, you got anything on tonight?
Nope. Wednesday's my night off, so usually I'm only here because my wife's gone to get her hair done. So, but tomorrow night we're very busy, aren't we, Jack?
We are. We've got the championship predictions for week 6, so it'll give you a sort of inkling of what we've actually put for the Leicester game. And we've got 2 Coventry fans joining us. I think it's Sky Blues Fan TV and your mate Lee from TikTok. If you know who that guy is, as a Coventry fan. It's going to be an absolute game changer against the 2 Coventry boys, and it's a must watch, to be fair, because it could get tasty.
Scum. Ethan, I'm disappointed not to see your mum in the chat as well this evening, mate. She's been here the last couple of streams.
No, everyone's a bit tired. It's just been a long week. I still need to go eat dinner, so I'm gonna go do that right now. It's just been a bit of a busy week. Time to relax now. Yeah.
Good stuff. Right, we're going to end it there. Big shout out to everybody for joining us. Big shout out to Jack, Steve, and Ethan as well, of course. Oh, she is here. There we go. Look at that. Like clockwork. Ethan's mum is in the chat. Perfect. Look at that. Right, that's it. Pretty much. Make sure to, as I said 3 times already, make sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe. Big shout out to the sponsors of the channel as well, Match Bingo, where you can win lots of money, as you already know. So,
how much money, Locks? How much money?
They've already paid out up to 200 grand. So we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow or Friday with a preview. Don't know when, but we'll see you then. Cheers. See you all. Bye-bye. Massive thank you to today's sponsor, Match Bingo. Over 200 grand has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one amazing app. Make sure to get your bingo card for any Leicester City game in the upcoming season. Click that link in the description or via the QR code on screen.